ways that we could be alone. Got me falling in a daze, babe. Don't you know that you drive me half insane? I got so much left to say. You've been spreading like a wildfire in my room. Just don't know how to ecstasy. And as the days go missing, I keep living on this faithless vision. I wish you could love me louder, louder. And now the sun is risen, I keep on moving. I can't help looking for ways you could love me louder, louder. Now I've seen all the ways of you. I gotta know why we ever had to wait. Don't you know that you drive me half insane? Got so much left to say. And you've been spreading like a wildfire in my brain. Just don't know how to explain. Oh, and as the days go missing, I can't keep living on this faithless vision. I wish you could love me louder, louder. And now the sun is risen, I keep on moving, but I can't help looking for ways you can love me louder, louder.
Coming closer, know that I'm a mess. Tangled up in wires, I can't catch my breath. I run, I run, I run. Falling deeper, I cannot confess. Drowning in the chaos, I can't catch my breath. I run, I run, I run. Catch my Coming closer, know that I'm a mess. Tangled up in wires, I can't catch my breath. I run, I run, I run. Falling deeper, I cannot confess. Drowning in the chaos, I can't catch my breath. I run, I
losing my mind. Think I'm losing my mind. Keep me up all night. Baby, I'm still alive. Think I'm losing my mind. When I open my eyes, think I'm losing my mind. Baby, I'm still alive. You let me disappear. Now the world is in my hands. No, I got shed a tear. Even though I know I can't. When I am around you, when I am around you, when I am around you, yeah. I think I'm losing my mind. Think I'm losing my mind. Keep me up all night. Baby, I'm still alive. Think I'm losing my mind. When I open my eyes, think I'm losing my mind. Baby, I'm still alive. X on the line, just as I suspected. No one really gets over me. I'm unaffected. Why would you try to ever put me second? You're just another groupie to me. No, I'm out here single, and I need some real. Now I got standards. Give a fuck how you feel. I'm out here single. Tell me what's
All right. Hello, everybody. What's happening? Well, let's dive right into it today. Welcome in, everybody. Let's we got a lot to look at today. A lot going on. Many setups. What's up, Friso, Joe, Diego, Ibreneth? Welcome, everybody. Buenos dias. Grand Rising. Hello, Seth. Happy Tuesday. Let's go today. Let's get some tacos, burritos. Maybe even an enchilada. Morning, happy Veterans Day. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that, man. And everyone else who served. Absolutely. What's up, Son Dolce? Edgar, happy Veterans Day to Americans who served, and Remembrance Day to Canadians who served. I love it. What's up, Toby? What's up? Let's go. The Brandons are on. Hello, everyone. Okay. Buenos dias. Let's get into it. So right now you're seeing we're about 7 minutes away from New York Open, and we're seeing Dow Jones, right? YM just took out London highs, Asian highs at the moment, just cracking above it. It is approaching this high that I had drawn up over here. I don't think I'm going to shoot a shot here just because we also have a NASDAQ that's been very bearish, very bearish over here. And I think we might end up getting the sell over here instead. So if you guys are noticing this here, you may have noticed how there's been a trend line build up here. Lots of liquidity from NASDAQ. And I think the market may want to keep clearing more of this, especially because we have London session highs over here and then Asian session highs over here as well. So I do feel much better about selling NQ if there's a desire for the market to clear liquidity. Then we can see more volatility. So someone asked today, is today a bank holiday? So today, U.S. banks will be closed in observance of Veterans Day. This could go both directions. So this could be a day where the market is slower volatility, and also could be one of those moments where we have a lot more going on. And the reason being is just due to what we have going on with government shutdown. I think I'm very much open to just having my eyes on the market regardless. Yeah, that's kind of my take on it. And then another thing that you always want to kind of be mindful of is that most major equity exchanges, so like New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, they're going to have the markets open today. Futures markets are going to be open. So I wouldn't, like, the banks are closed, sure, but the equities markets are open either way. So it might be a little lighter compared to usual, but still worth the time, in my opinion. Okay, so here, with that being said, NQ looks like, I mean, here we had, so this is last Thursday, a nice little sweep above. The market worked its way down, and then, we have all of this liquidity set up here. So nice little sells from here. Look good. What I would what I'm also very open to is, oh, look at that. This took out the highs, played right out of it. Nicely. But what I like is actually the trading at it here is what looks a bit more interesting to me, where we had this reaccumulation where the market looked like it was setting up for a sell. We had the liquidity sweep. The market came, crashing back down. But then once it took out this low, apparently this hour where the market traded below, based on how it moved, and here we can get a little more detail. I was wondering if this was going to be the case. I felt a bit better about shorting anyways, but we broke below liquidity. The market traded down here, came back up, traded down here again, and then finally rallied. But apparently, this break below, this break, and then retest here, all of this was actually just luring in sellers and taking out buyers, and then this thing absolutely went crazy to the upside. So apparently, this was a liquidity capture event. This was not demand. Apparently, this was not enough demand, and the market continued to rally. So because of how we saw the market, play out of this range, I'm very much open to buying Dow from this area. We see a very intentional sweep to the low here. And then especially that break and retest, that really does lure in another batch of sellers because people see it break below, come back here, and then in go sellers. So this lures in more retail sells, and then it finally turns around, taking out, all the stops across the board. So considering how bullish we are over here with Dow, I'm very open to buying Dow over here. And then this is, more within this imbalance. Here we've seen an order block. Here we've seen just the market have a reversal. So right around this zone is where I like a buy. So I would be looking for a setup over here. Yeah, right around these zones. So we have New York open in a minute. See if the volatility does kick in or not today. And then that brings us towards S&P that's traded a bit more similarly to NQ. NQ yesterday played out of the zone and then took out London lows before just also, going crazy. So you can see it with NQ here. It looks a little bit more clear with S&P. Nice little push down before the market doesn't sustain these lows and just rallies. And I guess that would have been a good indication on yesterday when we saw only Dow break below all of this and then reverse, whereas NQ and S&P both struggled to create, stay below this low. It was just a liquidity capture and then a reversal. Plus, yesterday the sell is going against momentum, so added movement there. So, okay, cool, perfect. We stay out of this. Remember, we're not selling here, so no vendimos nada aquí. No queremos vender esto. So, which is, in my opinion, that's what I would do here. Not doing anything. So, staying out of this. Meanwhile, we see NQ still not even as bullish. Slowly moving its way up. Great. All right, so while indices continue to, I guess, give more and more, print more candles, we get more perspective, I do think we can take a look at other things going on here in the market. Yesterday, I was looking for a short on oil, which we got. Got pretty close to getting stopped out. The market ended up giving us a 2.73 R after the day's closed. So if you carried over, whether you opened up a new position or you just stayed out, worst case, you got out end of day here around. This is where I ended up getting out on some of my accounts, and then on other accounts I ended up taking a small loss around like here. So, and they ended up kind of, I guess, playing out. But yeah, this carried, pushed down into the imbalance, and then the market just decided to continue on. And now we're seeing a shift in structure with oil, assuming that we are going to maintain these highs up here. So earlier, kind of struggled to get up here, but now that we're getting high above here, we've been trading above here for a couple hours. There might be opportunity for continuation. The difference is I don't really see much of an entry over here. This kind of has equal lows. This push down is pretty meh. It isn't like we get a big liquidity, a quick push below liquidity, higher highs. We don't really get much of that. There is an imbalance here. Don't get me wrong. And yes, you do have a little bit of a push down, but yeah, oil not really presenting everything I need for an entry there. So that's all good. Right now on the way up, we're seeing the market maybe target liquidity up here, So I'm kind of staying put here. What I wanted to go over though, right away, was what's going on with NZD 6N. Anyone here is taking a look at NZD? Now here's why this is on the radar for me. Well, I see the market last week was kind of building up sideways, creating liquidity, doing all this, and we see one move to the upside right here. You see a nice push higher right there before it crashed. So this is it right here. About what, 5.5 pips or so, and then it came crashing down. So we haven't really seen the reversal quite yet. But the question is, is it valid? Can we see it short from here? Should we sell from here? So we can take a look at other ideas. The yen already mitigating from the 9th, not coming anywhere near these prices from the 6th by any means, but this is all pretty efficient anyways. And then when we look at euro, market structure is very different. It's already trading above Thursday's price action. CAD futures, same. Like, these are all trading very different, except for including Australian. So it's an odd price action when we're looking at NZD. There's liquidity up here for Australian, so I don't know if the dollar is going to want to pursue these highs here today or not. But yeah, across the board, if we're looking at NZD individually, this looks like it could be a sell-off area. This right here was from that 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, typically like unemployment claims type of moment. So, as I'm looking at every other major here, the difference is that nothing else really has a setup except for NZ. It's not like, we have to choose between the two. And then also on top of that, we have, no structure is similar. So trading it on its own, I think, could have an opportunity. But I also see the risk because as you look at things like the pound, for example, the pound has liquidity over here that it could target. And then we have Australian that also has liquidity over here that it could target. So I wouldn't say this is an A+ setup by any means. On its own, if I didn't keep into consideration correlation, then on its own, I'd say, yeah, this is worth taking a swing at. But independently, or if we correlate them, then now there's a little bit more risk involved in taking this idea. So I'd say take this with a grain of salt if you are going to. There are some red flags that connect to other dollar pair things. I'm gonna just stay out. I'm okay with missing out on the idea if it does work out. Just because we are in USD, like this is where the dollar can be volatile. So if maybe we were in Asian session, that'd be a little different because I'm like, all right, cool. It might be just an NZD oriented news event that could impact volatility. But we are in New York session. So with that dollar being of influence, it may just push everything higher. Pound may seek to clear liquidity up here, or same thing, Australian may keep going higher to take out liquidity over here as well. So yeah, I'm going to just sit back and stay out of this trade. But I wanted to bring it up in case anyone else was considering it and just wanted a second opinion or some feedback over here. All right, so Dow pushing upward still. We have NASDAQ also continuing to work its way higher. During London, we do have a little bit of a push up here. Takes out a tiny bit of liquidity, and then the market drops. So just if you guys wanted to kind of see it a little more. Right here was pretty sideways. A sweep to the upside, and then we have the continuation to the downside. But with all of this liquidity that we're seeing over here, I'm okay with not forcing any sells within this zone. Okay. Meanwhile, you guys have noticed gold has been on an absolute rampage over here. Just going crazy. Creating highs over here wouldn't give it much of a distribution. All right, we're chilling over here. Just took out some lows, took out London session lows. Traded into this Asian session imbalance. From here, if the market's going to push back down, I mean, wow. It would have been great to be in gold buys this whole time. That's to say the least. At this point, if we're looking to reintroduce ourselves into gold, sells for me aren't really it yet. There's not clear evidence. And then the last move that we saw during New York session was this last push down, actually clears some lows, and then it rallies some more. So this is kind of trading within this structure anyways. So yeah, I mean, I could see a little bounce out of here. We can take a look at silver as well. Doing its thing. Basically still creating equal highs, and similar to gold, the last low that we got, and there's a nice push down to here before it rallied. Everything looking relatively efficient. Possibly could consider this as equal lows. But you have both of these creating similar moments here. So I'm going to have alerts set up for this in case it's worth taking a swing at. I'll have two alerts. One, if we start to break these lows, then we can kind of be ready for it with contract sizes and all that good stuff. But this could be an idea. NZD pushing down a little bit. All right, so how's Dow kicking things off over here? Right? We've seen New York Open was very aggressive. Blasted through those highs, right? Clearly there's volatility here today. 70, 80 point move. and then right back down, came right back up. This is all over the place. There is, in my opinion, a lot of liquidity that was stored for sells. Right now, it's not like we saw it come back down and then it was relatively bearish. It's like we came down, came right back up. It's very choppy. This place is a mess over here. Dow is now creating liquidity here as well. So these are trading environments that I just choose to not be a part of and just let the market give us, like, it'll tell us what the setup is if you just give it enough time. Right now, we just don't really have that kind of time. We don't have the candles. We don't have the patterns, the information to take positions. So really no need to force anything here. If we were to somehow get above liquidity here, and this is now Australian again, while NZD manages to stay in the zone, then I could look for a sell. But yeah, I mean, we're starting to see this thing is starting to slow down. Yeah, it is what it is. If you're looking at this idea and you're like, well, I like it, then just, if you have the data and you don't want to consider correlations, then do your thing. You know, like don't let me stop you. And another way you could approach this is just risk a smaller amount. If it's not an A+ setup, but it's still good enough for you. All right, peso still pushing. Doing its thing. Really switching up structure, though. So the trend with the peso has, in my opinion, officially turned things around. We're no longer in this bearish downturn. So if you've been following the peso here, I mean, you've been seeing this thing lose more. Like, the dollar is losing more and more value towards this thing. It looks like it's going to keep pushing lower. So yeah, we might get to these levels that we hadn't seen for quite some time. So it's a good time to be peso rich. Bitcoin with some expected pullbacks here. After we have, traded above these highs over here all of Sunday, Monday, going into Asian session. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback. And pulling back before we even saw indices start making any reversals as well. So my thoughts on this are that it could take out these lows potentially. This isn't as simple as it looks. Like, it's not really liquidity here. This is more of an accumulation. So we may end up just seeing a reversal, honestly, out of this area here. Right under like 102. This here, accumulation, sweep of liquidity, a liquidity buildup again, the last push down in the market rallies. Yeah, pretty mellow market, to be honest. Take a quick look at some stocks here. Won't expect too much across the board. A little bit of movement from Sony, Nike, Etsy, Starbucks. Nothing crazy there. Everything else is basically ranging. Keep an eye out on Coinbase, though. Coinbase under 300. Looks nice. And you can catch a nice move with Coinbase. Coinbase gets some volatility, so. But yeah, guys. I mean, I'm not really going to keep you guys here for too long today if we don't really need to. We don't have any dollar news events later today. And that's really all we have going on. If there's if there's anything else worth adding fundamentally today, we'll talk about it. But yeah, there's not really too much going on here. The big things that I'll say that you should keep in mind today is that one, and I'd say this one's a big one. Hold up. Let me pull this up real quick. So today, if you guys aren't familiar, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running a launch call for the Breaking the Habit of Breaking Your Plan. We want to make sure you guys understand the value of, not having to need another strategy, but being able to stop yourself from sabotaging the one you already have. So the inner workbook is going to be all about entry. It's not going to be about entries or exits or anything like that. It's all for traders that are kind of tired of watching their discipline disappear anytime any sort of emotion just kind of pulls up. So, I know a lot of you got the markets down, you're getting the technicals down, but you're still fighting with some of those inner patterns that keep it's like as soon as you're getting close, it's like it just gets out of reach again. So this one is all about reprogramming your paradigm, identity, habits, emotional conditioning that kind of change how you perform under pressure. So on the call tonight, we're going to go over about why 99% of traders kind of lose themselves when they know what they should be doing, how to leverage your higher faculties, and even find out what even is a higher faculty, right? So that you can stay composed while you trade. We'll be diving a little bit into how you can rewire your self-image so that you actually can execute what you envision. Letting go of an identity of the past that's sneakily sabotaging your plan, and how to create an environment and routine that reinforces discipline in a way that becomes automatic. So if you've ever asked yourself, like, why do I keep breaking my own rules? Why can't I trade like the person I know I can be? Then, this inner workbook definitely is the answer. So, yeah, join us live tonight. We have an official launch call. We'll walk you guys through the philosophy behind the book, kind of how we got to it, and then how you can implement it into your daily processes so that you can start building an edge on a psychological level as well. So the edge isn't always on the charts here. It does have to do with your conditioning and being able to do that. So in the school, you guys will see a post right now as well on the time of everything and how you can get access. So most importantly, we recommend it. There'll be a lot of value on the call as beyond just like, hey, you should check this out. But with that being said, guys, it's going to be a short session. There's really nothing to do. As you guys are seeing, there's a lot of sideways movement, liquidity. Things are pretty slow here across the board. I'm not taking a sell on NZD. Going to kind of wait it out. If there's anything else going on around here, I'll go ahead and send it over. But with slow markets that we have so far, things are picking up now. But look at NQ real quick. NASDAQ is starting to break below the low from earlier today, trading towards these areas. And if you look at where Dow is just chilling up here. Just hanging out all the way up here. While NQ is taking out these lows and then coming right back in. So the reason I'm not necessarily looking for buys over here, despite despite this taking out the lows, and it looks like it possibly could be a buy, is just because of Dow. Like, Dow is way up here. So if Dow is going to want to fill in balance and trade out of these zones, I have a feeling NQ is going to go even lower. And remember, yesterday, NASDAQ didn't really trade all the way too much further down. NQ hasn't filled in balance the way Dow has. So this may be where we see the market start to shift and kind of take turns, where now all of a sudden NQ goes a lot lower. So here we saw a spike up, comes down, comes back up again. I'm not as convicted on looking for sells. I understand sells from here, especially with all this liquidity. But if NQ is already dropping, and NQ also has liquidity it can sweep up here, yeah, I'm not going to look for that. So if I'm going to sell anything, it would end up being NASDAQ way up here above 25,780. And if I'm going to buy anything, it would be with Dow around 47,100, right around this range. So I'm going to wait that out. Let me go look at the chat. Let's see what you guys got. I can do some Q&A and stuff. All right, so let me look at the chat. Can you look at NAS? Yeah, I just took a look at it. Is there any news regarding the shutdown? Yeah, so basically at this point, it's looking like the sentiment is that the what's it called? The Democrats are kind of giving up. So they did. The U.S. Senate passed a funding bill aimed at ending the shutdown, and it went through with a 60-40 vote. So what does that mean, right? That would fund the government through January 30th, 2026. And then it could shut down again. And then from there, it didn't include a couple things that were the issue. So like one of the issues was it didn't include the extension of the Affordable Care Act, which was the marketplace premium subsidies. That issue is being kicked, but that's going to be another vote in December. So now the bill has to go to the House of Representatives for a vote, which I think is expected to happen tomorrow. And then it would hit the desk of the U.S. president. So that's how that goes. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if tomorrow. It looks like it's basically a wrap. So maybe Wednesday, Thursday, party's over. Everyone goes back to work. All right, you said, Mike, I remember you mentioned once that if it goes days without market taking out mitigating market sessions, highs and lows, what tends to happen in those circumstances? Yeah, so basically, if we go days without, like if we're just squeezing, then expect a insanely volatile day. So let's say, well, right now, to the upside, we're taking out liquidity, at least with Dow. And Q, not so much. And Q is pushing lower. So these kind of have conflicted, opposing directions. And you can always tell because when S&P can kind of goes nowhere, that's when you also can know Dow and Q are moving away from each other. Short term, they usually end up coming back. But, yeah, so with that being said, if we see days without liquidity sweeps, then once it does happen, especially if it happens like with the trend, you can expect, if you can catch a nice liquidity sweep set up there, then you can let that thing run for a while. So during those events is where you can open up your risk reward if you get into the right trade. If you catch, the mitigation or like a shakeout, then yeah, you can see an awesome move. So as of right now, we saw NQ push down towards this area, bouncing back up again. Doesn't mean that this has got to go bullish. So don't get too overly excited. Let the candles finish printing. Get enough information before you make decisions. Because most of the time, people just trade what they want to see. And what I have here, I posted this yesterday. Yeah, we got CPI Thursday. Yeah, I was talking about today. Well, we might have CPI on Thursday. It's scheduled to happen, but it'll be dependent on if the government is shut down and if we're going to be able to get this data out. As you guys have seen, PPI, CPI has been a mess. FOMC, all of it has been a mess all around the board. So like right now, sure, something like this could say that it's saying CPI. Forex Factory doesn't do the best job of. They're just going to go with what is the standard up until there's like absolute verification. So right now, I wouldn't count on it yet unless things change. But for those of you that are looking at high impact news, because I know we all trade setups here more than anything. So Australian has employment change and unemployment rate data tomorrow. So if you want to see if there's any AUD setups for you, go ahead, check that out. And then you have some GBP stuff. I don't trade London. But for those of you that are out in Europe or maybe, you just like trading London session, you got some GBP action. And then Friday, again, supposed to have PPI. I wouldn't count on anything quite yet. But we'll know more tomorrow. We'll definitely know some more tomorrow. All right. I want to leave you guys with this thread that I wrote yesterday. You guys can check this out, whether it's on Twitter here or on Threads. I know more of you follow me on Instagram, so more of you probably have more visibility on this over here. So here's what I got for y'all, right? Traders think they see the market. They don't. They see themselves reflected in price. Every bias, every fear, every ego wound projects onto the chart. The market just amplifies it. Two traders can look at the same candle. One sees opportunity. The other sees danger. Neither see reality. Price doesn't change by emotion. Only perception does. The chart is constant. The trader fluctuates. So the goal isn't to predict price. It's to dissolve internal distortion. When bias leads, data deceives. So honestly, what you think you see on the market, you don't really see it because you're focused on what you want. So when awareness leads, when you're more of an observer, you take the bias out, then the setups are there. It's pretty simple. You don't see the market as it is. You see it as you are. So that's the key is, who are you when you're looking at the markets? Are you aware of like what version of you is showing up here when it's looking at it? What kind of biases, what kind of expectations are you bringing to the market that's leading to taking trades that you shouldn't be taking? So anyways, if you guys want to see, get more of this, then, the newsletter's out. That goes out every single Monday. You can find that newsletter, this one specifically. You guys can check it out here. I'll just drop the link. Here you go. If you guys want to read a little bit more into that, actually, I'll drop it in. I'll drop it in the school too. If you guys like to have these in your email, then you can subscribe to them. Otherwise, usually basically every week I'll drop them here in the school community, regardless. So yeah, you guys have that. I would recommend you save these, read them. Something that you could do before the session starts, and then just keep your head in the right space. And if you feel like you need more of this, the trading psychology, then don't miss tonight's call. I'll drop information on that ASAP here. So, fantastic. All right, guys. Short session. Nothing too crazy. Not going to keep you guys very long. Let's get to it. If you guys enjoyed it, obviously hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Send it to everybody. And then if you're not in our communities, feel free to scan here, left and the right. We have, guys, about 50 days left in the year, give or take. Let's make the most out of it. All right. My encouragement is, if you have been wanting to join the syndicate and have access, way more in-depth work that we're doing on the psychological, the technical, and the financial side of things. Right? If you want to have a absolute immerse program and get feedback sessions 3 times a week that we do together, 90 minutes each one, scan the code on the right. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. The transformation that I'm seeing in these traders is epic, absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's. I'm just grateful to be the part of the process for a lot of these people. So, book a call on the right. We'd be more than happy to have you all and help you accelerate years off the process and save yourself a lot of money long term to do so. So, appreciate you guys. As always, it's a pleasure. And we'll be live again. I'll see you guys later today. All right. Take care, guys.